What's up, guys? It's Saiyan here coming at you with another retro Pokemon throwback. And today we're going to look at the Expedition base set Echo theme deck. Now, there's quite a story behind this little theme deck here. I'm a base Neo player. Basically, I've been a base Neo player for many years. But recently, I have expanded my horizons and started to wink at some Neo 1 and particularly e-reader format cards. Now, my rules for my own self are that I don't want to mix the old base Neo style card with the obviously uh, quite different looking and obviously with the metallic, well, magnetic strip designed e-reader format cards. But that doesn't mean I can't pick up a theme deck and have a shuffle up. So this is a psychic colorless deck, which is pretty interesting because this is like pretty much the only theme deck from the Wotc era where you only have one color paired up with double colorless. But it's a really interesting deck. It's quite interesting what it does, and they've definitely taken a step forward from the previous theme decks because we actually get duplicate rares in this stuff. In fact, we get 3 rares. And of course, for those of you who know, originally the Japanese theme decks always came with 3 rares. So the English-speaking WotC sets, we got kind of ripped off, kind of short-shifted, I guess. I don't want to say ripped off, but we got short-changed. For sure, I got a Japanese Blaine's deck, and I got the English Blaine's deck as well, and definitely the Japanese one is a lot better, without a shadow of a doubt. But what's in this Echo theme deck then? Well, the usual stuff. So you get your rulebook. This is version 8, advanced rulebook, and of course here you will find the rules updated using the new template cards, and you get a coin. I don't think I got a coin with this, and you of course get the checklist. The card list, pretty cool. Blastoise on that one. Actually, this is one of the ones I often tend to buy these, and the previous owner will have ticked off what they have, and I've done the same when I was 11, 12, when I was playing Pokemon actively. And you get a little what is this, like a survey thing? Yes, it is a survey. Crazy stuff. And you get the usual stuff, the cardboard damage counters. Oh, we do get the coin. It's one of the metallic ones. This is the one with actually this is a new one. I'm just looking at. This is a 25-year anniversary Pikachu celebration coin. So not at all with this set, but well, that's why you probably should look at what you exactly get with these things. Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, that's what I got. Um, the deck wasn't 100% complete, but luckily I had those 3 cards that needed to be substituted, so we do have the 60-card deck. So let's jump right into this. We're going to look at the Pokemons first, then we will look at the trainers, and finally we will look at the energies. It's one of those rare scenarios where it's actually important to look at the energies because it works very well with the deck. So, Psychic Colorless. First of all, we have 4 Abras. Now, what those of you who haven't really played with e-reader cards, they are shockingly bad compared to base Neo cards. So don't expect them to be overpowered. It was almost like a relaunch with Expedition. This is one of the reasons why I think it's definitely worthwhile just to play the e-reader format as its own little thing, just with the 3 sets. You still get like nearly 1,000 cards in 3 sets, so you still can brew. But we start with a 40 HP Abra, a colorless Scratch for 10, or a Confuse Array where you can possibly confuse. Definitely nothing to write home about, but it will allow us to get into our Kadabras. And these Kadabras have fantastic art. I mean, just look at this art for a second, guys. Whilst I have a sip of coffee. So Kadabra already shows what the deck is trying to do. Its energy recall attack allows you for a colorless to attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to Kadabra. Or you can swing for 20 with a Confuse Ray and potentially Confuse, which is basically the same what Abra does, but for a colorless we get 20 damage as well. And the star of the show, and definitely one of the main reasons why I said that this deck is indeed quite interesting, quite different, is because of this Alakazam. So we got 2 copies, so you can see that you actually have an evolution that you're quite possibly going to be able to reach just with the 2 Alakazams, and we got some trainer support for that too. So the Psymimic Poke Power reads once during your turn instead of Alakazam's normal attack. You may choose one of your opponent's Pokemon attacks. Alakazam copies that attack, including its energy cost and anything else required in order to use that attack, such as discarding energy cards, blah 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 blah. So, at first I thought that this Psymimic will still allow you to just use your psychic energies. But actually, the more digging we did and the more you look at the deck, you will realize that the whole point of this deck, the whole point of Psymimic, is that you can pretty much copy anything that your opponent might come up with. But for the constructed decks, this Alakazam is normally used for its Synchro Blast attack, which says that if Alakazam and the defending Pokemon don't have the same number of energy cards, it deals 20 damage, but otherwise it deals 80 damage, which is a massive, massive attack for 3 energies. And there's a bunch of special energies in the reader format, which will allow you to, generate the Synchro Blast attack of 2 energies, to be able to hit your opponent's Pokemon if they have 2 or 3 energies, and just be able to deal that 80. Really powerful, really cool, and you get also 100 HP on this guy, which is that's decent. That's more than decent. That's very, very good. So how can we then make sure that we get the right energies onto Alakazam? Well, you can of course use the energy recall of Kadabra before you evolve into Alakazam, or have an Alakazam ready to go whilst you use it, and then set up the Kadabra for your next Alakazam evolution. That's not the only thing. Let's look at some of the additional Pokemon we get here to support Alakazam. So we have another nice little set of a 4 Ghastly, 2 Haunter lineup. And this Haunter is another one of our main attackers. Ghastly, first of all, will be very likely our other big Pokemon from, often have it in play, not big Pokemon, but the most played Pokemon, as we got 4 copies of Ghastly and Ember in the deck. So Bad Dream, for a Psychic, flip a coin. If as defending Pokemon is now asleep, if Tails is confused. So you can't lose out on this one. And you might have noticed that it introduced the Darkness weakness for Ghost Pokemon in this game. Now, even the Ghastlies have retreat costs, so they really, really made sure in the e-reader format that your Pokemon will have retreat costs, which of course is it's a balance. It's a balancing thing. That's why they've done it. But Hunter is really good. Stage 1, 70 HP. You get the Nightmare attack. Defending Pokemon is now asleep, and then 20 damage for 2 energy. That's actually not bad in this format. But you got Dream Eater, where for the same energy cost, you can deal 50 damage, but only if the defending Pokemon is asleep. because if it isn't asleep, it does nothing. So you can set it up with a Nightmare, and then you can Dream Eater. So like a 1-2 punch, you can do 70 damage in 2 turns if they stay asleep. Now, obviously, the problem with asleep is that they get 2 flips to get out of it, so that gives them a fairly decent chance to wake up before you can get in with a Dream Eater, or of course just retreat. But still, nevertheless, another basic that has an evolution line. That's always important for me in these decks, that you just don't just end up with some crappy 40 HP basics that go nowhere. You can at least get these Ghastlies up to 170 HP. Very nice attacks there. So there's a reason for the Ghastlies to be in the deck. And another Pokemon that has a reason to be in the deck is a 3 Clefairy, 1 Clefable lineup. Now, this is another rare, so this is how we get the 3 rares in the deck. And this Clefable is quite a juicy card. Again, it's often used in constructed decks as well. Clefairy, first of all, are basic 50 HP, and for a colorless we get a slap, or the defending Pokemon is now asleep, so Clefairy works pretty well with Haunter. If you can go out with a Clefairy, put them asleep, come out with unsuspecting Ghastly Evolves to Haunter during your next turn, and you go and swing for 50, which is pretty neat. But the real star here is Clefable. The double slap attack is okay. It's nothing really to write home about, but I mean, I've played this deck and I relied on a double slap before, so again, it's just being able to go somewhere with a Clefairy. But really, the Moonlight Pokepower is fantastic here. So it reads once during your turn before you attack. You may put a card from your hand back onto your deck. If you do, search your deck for a basic energy card, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. So basically, any card you got in your hand, you can exchange it for a basic energy card. And that is amazing for Alakazam, because obviously then you can get yourself a fighting, or a water, or a grass, or a lightning, or whatever you need, and be able to set up that Psy Mimic with Alakazam. So the 3 rares really work together nicely. And yeah, I've had a game or two where I actually did manage to get them all out, and they work fantastically together. You can then really have a massive library of, basically your opponent. Whatever they push out as their active, you can copy that stuff. We also have 2 Chanseys in the deck. Chansey was really, really, really toned down in this format, but it's still a 90 HP basic, which is still dominant. It's relevant. Obviously not 120 like the base set one, and it's not going to deal 80 damage, but you do get a bit of a heal ability potentially, where with the Lucky Coin flip you can remove 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon. So not only do you put out a 90 HP guy to the front, you can also heal itself up, or one of your other guys on the bench, so it gives you some recovery. But Dogpile is fantastic. If you absolutely fill up your bench, Dogpile can deal up to 50 damage. But of course, Chansey does the damage to itself, which is where Bind Wound comes in. You can deal up to 50. Chansey gets 50, but then next turn you can heal some of it off from Chansey. It's not a double edge. Of course, it's not a double edge, but it's still a Chansey. It's still a 90 HP, and it's still a decent enough attack for a theme deck. The one Pokemon I don't particularly like here in this deck, although again there is a reason to have it in, but I'm not a massive fan. It's these 2 copies of Meowth, where you get a 50 HP basic with no evolution, with a double scratch attack that perhaps deals 20 if you get really lucky, which can be neat of 1 energy, but coin flips are coin flips. And then with Payday, you can deal 10 damage and perhaps draw cards. So it's really just that draw card ability where I think Meowth pays off. But, if I would have ever need to cut anything, Meowth would be the first 2 that I cut. But this is the Pokemon lineup. As you can see, the colorless ones really nicely support the main psychic theme of the deck. And indeed, it's just so nice that, well, you're not really going to struggle with consistency, because your colorless guys can run with any of the energies in the deck, and even your psychics can run off not necessarily just psychic energies. So yeah, actually to kind of help you guys understand what the deck does, I'm actually just really quickly going to look at the energies here. So we get, what is this, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. You get 16 psychics, and then you get 2 lightning, 2 water, 2 grass, 2 fire. That's one I needed to substitute, and 2 fighting again, one I needed to substitute. So this is just so you can get the right energies onto Alakazam to be able to do that Psy Mimic, which is really cool. Not only can you have obviously Alakazam up if you use an attack and you need to discard them, Kadabra can bring some of these back into your hands, and you also have Clefable to go and get the right color energies into your hand. But we do get a decent trainer support to be able to get the right energies too. First of all, let's look at that then. Let's look at draw power. We get 2 copies of Copycat, another powerful card. And also with the introduction of supporter cards here, but obviously once you play a supporter, you can't play any more supporters that turn. You put this next to your basic, so you know that you have already played your supporter for the turn. Shuffle your hand into your deck, count the number of cards in your opponent's hand, and draw that many cards. Sometimes really good, sometimes not that great, but generally it's a pretty powerful card. It really just depends whether your opponent has draw power or not. Another excellent card, really good, make sure that you can get the right evolutions to your hand, is Professor Elm's Training Method. Again, a supporter, so you can only play 1 supporter a turn. But with the training method, you can search your deck for an evolution card, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. So you can get your Kadabra, you can get your Alakazam, you can get your Clefable, you can get your Haunter, you can get all your heavy hitters out with the training method, which is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And then, just to make sure that we always have the right energy, we do get 2 energy search cards, which usually will be used to get one of the non-psychic energies out of the deck. Search your deck for basic energy, shoot your opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. Sweet. A bit more of a healing there with Moo Moo Milk. Again, I needed to substitute the 3rd one with the Neo Genesis print. Moo Moo Milk, I'm not a big fan, but again, it's because it's coin flip based. You may be able to heal 40. On average, you're going to deal your heal 20. Sometimes you're not going to heal anything, and then it's just a wasted space in the deck. But we do get 3 copies combined with Chansey's potential healing effect. We actually have a fairly significant amount of potential healing in the deck. And then finally, 2 of my least favorite cards, 2 full heals. Why do I say this? Well, because if we had a switch, or we had a scoop up, or we've had a warp point, any of those cards do what a full heal does, but with extra utility. So full heal is really, obviously it's the card that you're only going to play if you play the theme deck format. How I do with my mains over at CCG Replays. Check out his videos as well. He's got some cool videos over on CCG Replays. Full Heal is not one of my favorite cards, but that's that. Finishing the video on a low note. Nevertheless, this is a really fun deck, and I'm just delighted that you get 3 rares. So it's a fun deck. I really enjoy playing this. Played it against Rock Garden with the really cool fighting type Nidoking, which relies even more on coin flips, so you can get massive damage out. But if your luck is not in the right place, then you're not going to have fun playing with that deck. Anyway, guys, up until next time, Bussy and signing out. Peace.